Hey guys, Nicole here with Obscure Reptiles and Caging, and today we're going to be answering some of our most commonly asked questions. So let's get started. Hey guys, so today I have a list of some of our most commonly asked questions, something that we get messages on, if not daily, sometimes weekly. So I'm going to go over them just as a broad answer for you guys, and they're questions that people tend to always want to know. So I figure it couldn't hurt to answer them all like this. Number one, people always ask me what morph their snake is, whether it's a ball python, a boa. Unfortunately, I didn't breed that animal, so I can sometimes guess, but generally I don't even try to take a guess because I just don't know. There are traits in ball pythons, like let's say het for different genes like pieds and clowns and recessive gene animals that you can never see in those animals. You can only know based on the breeding. So if you put a normal to a pied, all the babies look normal, but they carry the genetics. So if you want me to guess on a snake's look, unfortunately, I normally cannot do that. Some things are normally super easy if it's just a normal lesser or a pastel, but if you start getting into multi-gene animals, again, without knowing what the parents were, it's almost impossible to know. So if you send me a photo of your snake, if it's something super easy that I can answer very confidently, I will, but if I can't, then unfortunately I can't. Why your snake will not eat? Well, the number one thing is, where did you get this snake from again? If you didn't get it from me, then I don't know where you got it from. If you got it from a pet store, then my best opinion would be go back to that pet store and find out why it's not eating for you. Is it your setup? Is it because it was poorly bred? Is it because it wasn't eating to begin with? There are a lot of different variables. If you got a snake from me, I will answer all of your questions, but if you have a personal snake that you did not purchase from me, it's almost impossible for me to know why your animal isn't eating when I've never even laid eyes on that animal, never touched that animal. I didn't breed that animal. Fortunately, there's breeders out there that will sell snakes before they've even started eating. We don't do that. We require a minimum of 5 meals. And if those 5 meals aren't consistent, then we hold them even longer. But not everyone holds those high standards like we do. So, unfortunately, it depends on where you got that animal from, what it was doing before. It could be something as simple as that animal was only eating mice, but you're offering it rats. Your cage temperature is incorrect. That snake's never eaten before. They were force feeding that snake because it wouldn't eat. It's sick. There's a lot of reasons why your snake might not be eating. We've actually got entire videos dedicated to helping you figure out why your snake's not eating. But again, if you specifically got an animal from somebody else and it is not thriving and doing well, please contact that person and find out what is different between the two of you, or maybe if, again, it wasn't eating at all in the first place. Where to get mice and rats or ASF? Well, that is a loaded question based on where you live. Personally, I breed all of my own supply. I do have a few local people that I will go to occasionally if I don't have enough for what I need, or if, let's say, I'm retiring older breeders and I need some new stock. But based on where you live, I would highly recommend finding some different people, go to some reptile shows. If you breed your own animals, that's fantastic and even better. Normally pet stores are going to be the most expensive option. There's almost always someone somewhere locally breeding. They might not be the price exactly that you want, but generally might not always be the exact price that you want, but generally they're cheaper than pet stores. Cheap snakes. People ask all the time, do I have cheap snakes? When you breed almost any different pairing of ball pythons, sooner or later you come up with single gene animals like a pastel, a normal, a pinstripe, a normal het clown. So when I do these pairings, I try to create things I've never created before, things that I have seen but I've never had. I try to make new cool animals for myself, and I try to do things that are kind of high in demand, like blue-eyed Lucy's, certain types of pies and clowns. But during these pairings, you do produce cheaper, lower end animals, but I don't specifically breed for them. Generally, if somebody's looking for a very cheap snake, that means that they have a very thin budget, and unfortunately ball pythons require a good chunk of change when it comes to their enclosure, the feeding, all the things that they need and require. So, do we have cheap ball pythons? Occasionally. but we don't specifically try to create them. Breeding info. People all the time want to know this, that, and the other about breeding, specifically their animals. We have tons of breeding ball python videos. We have 3 separate ones that break down the 3 different processes. We have one that incorporates everything, and every year we try to do an updated something about breeding. So if you guys have any questions, watch any of our breeding guide videos. We have tips on breeding. We have things showing about how they lock, what's the glow before they go, when to know without a sonogram, how to actually know if your snake's going to have eggs or not. But almost everything that we can give you information wise, we have made right on a video, so that way you guys have access to it and it can answer all of your questions. Care guides for different species. That's another thing that we make videos on. We have a small range of different care guides, specific videos. I only have very limited different species because of the climate that is in this room. There is a heater going. It's a little buzz in the background, I'm sure you guys can hear. And we try to maintain a certain climate in this reptile room, which is not suited for different things like corn snakes. A lot of different colubrids find it too warm in here. There's a lot of things that we can't have. So unless I know someone who has these different animals and I've done research or owned these animals in the past, I only make care guides on things that I really know about, or I do a lot of research, so they take a lot of time. But I do have quite a few random care guides out there for you guys learning about things, and if there's species that I don't cover that are legal in New York that I can do videos about, let me know and I will try to get to them once I'm able to thoroughly do research. One of the most exciting videos that we have come up with is first week with our new ball python. So people within that first week, they're very nervous, very anxious, never had a ball python. They don't know how to set up the enclosure, they don't know what they need, they're not sure what to expect. That's one of the first videos that we came up with this year, and that way you guys can know exactly what to expect from your first week with a new ball python that you have gotten from us. What are the best things to breed? It's completely up to you. Breeding doesn't equal money. A lot of times when you breed things, you breed them for quite a long time. Market's constantly changing. You have to really get a name out there to be able to sell all these animals. So keep in mind when it comes to breeding things, breed what you want for a reason. Because you really love that animal, because you're dedicated to that species, because you want to create something that you've never even seen locally, because it's something that you're going to be proud of. Breed something you want. It doesn't hurt to breed things that specifically are in demand. Like I almost always try to breed some blue-eyed Lucies every year. I used to love it, and now after 10 years of breeding, blue-eyed Lucies are still awesome to create, but they're not, wow, I finally made my first blue-eyed Lucy. Now I create them because that's something that people always want. But because I've created those blue-eyed Lucies, it gave me a stepping stone to the other cool projects that I'm able to work with and start doing, all because of what I started with in the beginning. So breed something that you love and that you're passionate about, regardless of everybody else, but try to make it something that's at least a little bit in demand, or at least very interesting to you. Waitlist. People ask all the time. We have, again, another actual video on our waitlist. We do waitlist for all the different species we have. We actually take deposits for our waitlist once we actually have eggs for all these different animals. We don't add people to the official waitlist or take any deposits until we physically have those animals in front of us, or we have at least the eggs.